It is Monday morning, and the Parkway is beautiful. No more rain, no more fog, no more wind, and the temperatures rose about double of what it was yesterday. It's about 64 degrees right now, so pretty nice. So the plan today is to do just under 50, to try to make up what we lost yesterday. So from here on out, I'm really just looking to do like average 30 miles a day, and that's really the beauty of doing something like a bike tour. It's just can just kind of take our time, and we don't have anywhere to be. I don't know, it's just different from hiking, you know, like whether I do 30 or 50 or whatever. Or last night we pretty much only did 17 and then took the rest of the day off because it was gross. Just out here to have fun, out here to ride the whole Parkway, but also just to have fun. The great thing about the Parkway are sometimes there are these little bitty like stop-offs. This is the Northwest Trading Post. So inside it's essentially like a bunch of arts and crafts and gifts for people's houses. But they also have snacks and cookies and candy, and they make sandwiches here. So pretty cool. Good place to take a afternoon break. A lot of climbs for the end of the day. Good morning. It is day 9 and we just woke up and we are leaving this place that we stayed last night, which is Miller's Campground. It's the check-in building behind me. That's Snuggles. And there are the campsites way up in there. A bunch of RVs, but there are some really nice tent sites. It's really cool because it's right here on the BRP, but the Mountains to Sea Trail, which is a long distance trail, it's about 1,100 miles, that goes all the way through North Carolina, also crosses like right here, basically in like the front yard of this place. So pretty cool. It's been here for a long time. It was really, really nice. The people here were really nice. And yeah, it was nice. Don't really know what type of mileage that we're gonna do today, but I do know that within the first 20 miles, we will be crossing into Virginia and we'll be done with North Carolina. So, woohoo, time to go. Shame that people want to carve their name into stuff like this. I'll never understand that. Snuggles and I have been waiting for this section of the Blue Ridge Parkway ever since we started. It's just nice and cruisy and flat. And the road's not chip seal. It's nice smooth pavement. Amazing. We have made it to Virginia. Yay! Well, we got a bit of a late start this morning because of a tire problem that Snuggles had on our bike. But we are finally on the road and rolling. It is crazy windy today. And the plan is to try to put in our biggest day yet so we can get really close to Roanoke. And then tomorrow we'll be going into Roanoke, into Daleville, which is just outside of Roanoke, to stay with our friend Rube that we hiked the AT with back in 15. And we just stopped off at this really cool place that Rube let us know about called the Mayberry Trading Post. It's here in Mayberry, Virginia. It's this little bitty old school general store that was built like back in the 1800s. And it's just so cool on the inside. Today has been a pretty tough day. That's weird because today's terrain has probably been some of the flattest terrain of the entire Blue Ridge so far. But because of all the chip seal and the headwind and the rest of the stuff, it's just been tough. So we're about 45 miles for the day. We're planning on doing 50. We were planning on doing 60, but we were whooped. So we stopped here, Smart View Picnic Area, which is awesome. Super awesome place. I wish this is where we were stopping for the night because it would be a great place to camp. But we just filled up on some water while we still can because we don't know if there's going to be water where we're going to stop tonight. So the day before yesterday, we ended up riding to milepost 120, which is Roanoke, Virginia. And luckily, we have a really good friend that lives here, Mr. Rube. Hello. That we hiked the AT with in 2015, and we decided to take a day off. So we hung out at Rube's house, went and did a couple things around Roanoke, took care of some errands, worked on the bikes, and now we are headed back to milepost 120 to finish out the last 120 miles. So we should have about 3 days left. I think we're gonna just kind of shorten our days a little bit. Probably end up doing like 40s. We feel real good. We might push it a little bit more, but this last 120 miles starts to get pretty hilly again, kind of like the beginning of the Parkway. So we'll see what happens. It's really awesome taking a day off in Roanoke and hanging out with Rube, and he's actually going to ride out like 20 miles with us. So we're gonna get him out here and get him a little active. He's insanely active. He has rode the Parkway how many times?
1.5.
1.5 times. And he's actually currently walking the Blue Ridge Parkway. So he is working on like a through hike of the whole Blue Ridge, which is pretty awesome. So Rube just rode up with us to milepost 100 and then seen us off. He's got about 20 miles back to the truck and he's going home. We have 100 miles left, and thanks so much, Rube, for letting us stay, riding with us today, just being awesome. Thank you. So one really cool thing about leaving Roanoke today and right near the 100-mile mark is we are right next to the Appalachian Trail. This is about the first time that the AT crosses or comes right next to the Blue Ridge Parkway, and we were here in 2015 and we hiked down that trail on our way to Maine, so pretty cool. We ended up doing 45 miles today. The plan was just to do 40s for the last 3 days, but that's sort of just what happens sometimes. So we found this cool little camp spot on this, like right off to the side of a fire service road, which is really cool because right over here is the Appalachian Trail. It literally runs like right next to this fire service road. So technically, we're like camped on the AT, which is pretty cool. Snuggles is outside eating dinner.
Eating the ramens.
And I am already relaxing in the tent because I'm still pretty full. We ended up stopping up at the Peaks of Otter, which was about 34 miles in today. We decided to do 34 before we stopped for lunch. We stopped about 1:30 and they had an all-you-could-eat buffet at the Peaks of Otter, so we went ahead and took advantage of that. So the important lesson to be learned from eating a buffet and then having like 10 more miles to do is you get the food sweats, and then the old stomach doesn't feel so good. So that's why I'm laying in the tent and not eating ramen, because I'm pretty much done for the evening. We are right at the highest point on the Blue Ridge Parkway in Virginia. So the highest point in Virginia, which is right at like 4,000 feet. And tomorrow morning we got a big descent down to the James River and a big climb back out. So it's getting dark, it's windy, it's getting cold. It's time to crawl into my quilt and hit the hay. Good morning. It got really windy and really cold last night. So Snuggles and I are having a hard time getting out of the tent. Sun finally came up, so we're wrapping up. We're gonna make our move. It's really cold. We're hoping that once we drop down in elevation a little bit, it's gonna warm up. So we just got done doing an insane descent down to the lowest point of the parkway, which is the James River. We actually crossed the James River on the AT in 2015. There's a really famous footbridge that a lot of hikers jump off into the river. But yeah, pretty frozen. Luckily we'll be able to go into a nice big climb here in a minute and start warming back up. So we stopped here for a second and sucking up some sun before we start making this climb. So far, this morning's been pretty good. We're already at 25 miles and it's only 11 a.m. A lot of climbing after leaving the James River, but it's been pretty gradual. Nothing too insane steep. I'm a little bit ahead of Snuggles, but should be catching up here any second. The plan was to just do 40 today, really just to do 40 for the last 3 days that we're out here, but yesterday we did a 44, 45, and by the time we get done with 40 today, I think it's gonna be pretty early, so we might just go ahead and push it and see where it gets us. That way tomorrow we have a really small day into Waynesboro, the end of the Parkway. It's a really awesome old logging railroad bed that they've like converted into a bridge. It's got that super awesome waterfall going under it. I love places like this on the Parkway. So today ended up not really working out as we planned. We had to do 50 miles because there wasn't really any place to camp. It is really cold. So our plan was to get into this little gap at about 49 miles, and there's supposed to be like a little bed and breakfast or something. And we just figured, screw it, we're gonna stay. It's way too cold tonight to be out here, and there's nothing really between, you know, where we started today all the way to Waynesboro. And the bed and breakfast has a bunch of rooms available, but apparently none of them are clean, so we couldn't stay. So we ended up riding another mile up the Parkway. We're just past mile post 27. So we're probably at like 26 and a half, and we are here at a little stealth spot on the side of this hill.
It's not very stealthy.
It's not very stealthy. There's actually a parking lot right down from where our tent's at, and there's already been a bunch of people that have walked up here and looked at us like we were crazy homeless people. So hopefully we don't get a ticket tonight, but there is no other option. There's nothing else around here to camp at, so this is gonna have to do. Temperature's probably gonna drop pretty low tonight, so it should be interesting. We should be pretty damn cold. We have a nice view though. The only good thing is tomorrow we'll only have like 26 miles until we are done in Waynesboro. We're gonna eat some Chinese and probably get a room for the night. So it is Monday morning, and we just left camp, broke down camp a little bit later, but it is a lot warmer this morning than it was yesterday morning, and it's not that windy. Actually, there's no wind right now, which is awesome. We only have like 26 or 27 miles until we hit Waynesboro in the Shenandoah, which means today we finish the Parkway. Yay. Time to do it.
How excited are you?
Pretty excited.
I wanted to quit. Ah.
After 469 miles, we are finally done with the Blue Ridge Parkway. Woo-wee! Cherokee, North Carolina to Rockfish Gap, Waynesboro, Virginia, the Smoky Mountain National Park to the Shenandoah National Park.